Welcome everyone, so Heroscape here today with update number 35. Today is some pretty dope designs. Dry on Lifeborn Order, which I kind of expected. Like I said, I think each day we're getting two heroes or two designs from each of the different factions we're familiar with. Today is no different. And yeah, I'm excited. I really like both of these. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a look. And it was in that moment of distress and confusion that the whip of terror laid its most nicely calculated lash about his hearts. The philosophies of the Dryan Lifeborn Magi teach the values of both life and death as equals in a balanced universe. However, each Dryan Lifeborn Magi utilizes those forces of nature in different methods. Their order's basic principle of neutral morality in a galaxy of good versus evil means that members of the Dryan Lifeborn Order have been drawn to Valhalla by Valkyrie on both sides of the war. Some, like Rakshot, Desecrator of Death, delight in their powerful new roles as masters of Valhalla's battlefields. Rakshot finds no shortage of resources in his new position, pulling from the earth the raw energies of the recently deceased, consuming their decaying corpse and focusing that power into a raging torrent of fury and hate. Rakshot, Desecrator of Death, cares little for the peace eternal sleep allows, only that it serves him and Master Utgar. Always beside Rakshot in a carnage of combat, in the manifestation of pure pain and anguish that is Vrono Brambletoth, its massive body riddled with sharp thorns lashing out at any who dare approach. Like a hurricane of razors, Vrono snarls in defiance to anyone foolish enough to question Utgar's dominion over Valhalla. So, really cool stuff. Let's jump back to these in just a minute after we look at the designs. First up is Rakshot, Desecrator of Death. And concept art's amazing. This is actually one that we've already seen the miniature for. That was in the original post with the Dawn Raider Syndicate and the Dragon. And so we do have a miniature example of what this guy looks like, but the concept art is still super awesome to look at. You just see how gnarly and gross he is. I mean, it's his legs and his arms never really end. He's literally like connected to the earth, and he's like a skeleton tree thing. And so he's Desecrator of Death, just freaking gnarly. And then the next guy, Vrono Brambletoth, I love this. The concept art on this is incredible. Like, I think I'm gonna love this mini. I mean, the brambles just like wrapping around him all over his body looks freaking dope. And so it looks like he's even got like some cool armor or shell on his legs or something. Wow, look at the horns on the back of his head splayed out. That's crazy. Some sort of moon symbol or third eye in the middle there. Really, really cool stuff. I think this miniature is going to be really fun. And the design implications on them, I think, are very significant. So let's take a look at those real quick again. The sayings here for Rakshot. So it says so he finds no shortage of resources, pulling from the earth raw energies of the recently deceased. So I think this is pretty easy, right? He's going to have some sort of aura, we'll just say within 3 or 4 spaces, and it's going to say something like, when an enemy or when any figure is destroyed within 3 or 4 spaces of Rakshot, he gets some sort of buff. I think it's going to be something, that increases some sort of marker. So likely what it is it'll say, okay, if a unit is destroyed within 4 spaces of Rakshot, add a deceased marker, or add some sort of raw energy marker to his card, right? And then it says focusing that power into a raging torrent of fury and hate. So likely you can then expend those markers for additional attacks or additional attack dice for attack. So it's some sort of special attack or normal attack, but it's going to be basically he gets buffed up by people dying around him, and then he can release more death, right? By using up markers or something. So I'm guessing that. The other thing to note here is let's see. Always beside Rakshot. That's key. So I think Vrono, it could be a familiar, because remember, we do know that familiars are a thing in the Dryon Lifeborn Order, right? So a familiar makes a lot of sense here because it says he's always beside Rakshot. So remember, familiars can be cross synergy. So that's been confirmed that they, the Magi should be able to, do any of the familiars, which is cool. But naturally, some of the familiars will be themed to go with certain units. So I think this one is going to be one of those, right? Where Rakshot's familiar is Vrono. If it's not, then it's just some sort of synergy, right? It's going to be some sort of, bonding or some sort of, interaction where they synergize with each other. What I also think is kind of neat here is it says manifestation of pure pain. It says that he is the manifestation of pure pain and anguish. That's really interesting, because if you look at it, he's got these thorns wrapping around him, and they're massive thorns that are probably gouging him and scraping him and lacerating him as well. So I bet that he's some sort of like cursed unit, right? Where he has some sort of negative ability that affects him, but also gives him strength. So I bet these thorns, do some sort of, you have to roll to see if they deal damage to him, like every turn or every round or something. But in addition to that, they make him really strong, right? They give him some sort of ability like chain grab or like some sort of engagement strike. Because if you look back here, it says it's massive body riddled with sharp thorns lashing out at any who dare approach. So that's pretty straightforward, right? That's got to be some sort of engagement strike within 2 or 3 spaces, right? So, if someone moves within 2 spaces of his figure, okay, roll the d20, they take damage, right? I think that's pretty straightforward. It makes a lot of sense. And again, because it says here it's he's the manifestation of pure pain and anguish, I think that's referring to himself, right? Because they're wrapping around him and they're cutting him while he's also using them in combat. So again, really cool miniature or concept art. Really excited for the miniature. And this guy is just going to be a beefy Death Lord, which is really cool. That's a wrap for today. Some really cool designs, stuff to get excited about. Dryon Lifeborn Order, I think, is my favorite faction. The Clockwork Combine is really starting to grow on me with some of the really cool different machines and synergy, or not synergy, but like mechanics, game mechanics that they've been presenting to us as possibilities. I really like the designs, what they look like, and kind of what I think how they're going to play. But the Dryon Lifeborn Order scratches that fantasy itch. I love the Dryon Lifeborn Order implications of what's possible in the miniatures that they kind of have shown us so far. So I'm most excited, I think, about Dryon Lifeborn Order at this moment. So let me know what you guys think in terms of your favorite factions and what you are most excited about. This is just another day in the life of Heroscape now, where we get updates every day. It's pretty amazing. And we just have a lot to look forward to every day. The more we learn, the more excited we get. The more excited we get, the more money we save. So that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.